you doing? Weather is been nice past couple of days. It's in the upper 30s, but it's supposed to turn wintry for the weekend. Oh boy. And this week has been kind of a week of reflection about, Pearl Harbor Day and World War II and everything. So I did buy the movie Tora, 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 and on Pearl Harbor Day I watched it with the kids, and of course they were bored for the first half of the movie, and then the second half got exciting. And unfortunately the youngest kid, Luke, without really understanding, started cheering when the Americans were getting shot and burned and blown up and everything. He thought it was great, and he was cheering for the Japanese. Well, I don't know. I told him that if he did that around his great-grandpa, he might get a real education very fast. And I proceeded to kind of give him a little bit of an education. I said, the Japanese were the aggressor in that war, and the Americans were opposed to the Japanese aggressive actions in China and the atrocities they were committing there. And the Japanese were on the side of the Axis powers, which meant they were aligned with Nazi Germany, who were committing horrible atrocities. And so, to further that point, to educate them last night, kids got their first dose of something that many of us have seen before, and that is the films that were shot by Americans of the Nazi concentration camps, and just the horrid, monstrous things that human beings could do to one another. And then followed it up with a movie about the rape of Nanking, which was atrocities committed by the Japanese in 1937 in China, and the horrible things that they did to the Chinese people during the war. So I don't know if it's kind of getting through to him. And Luke's real father is Jewish, his family is Jewish, so we proceeded to inform him that he may have ancestors who did not or did survive the German Nazi atrocities in the concentration camps, and that he needs to be careful and thoughtful about, and sensitive about what he's saying and thinking. It's just educational process. And I know it's horrible, it's cruel to have kids sit there and watch burned, mutilated, starved human beings, but I don't know, the reality has got to come sometime. And there are a lot of people in this world who will shield their children from this kind of thing. Oh no, you can't see that. No, we don't want you to watch that. You're not ready for it. And then these kids grow up never knowing, and the goal of raising kids is to raise them to be smart, conscientious, empathetic human beings. And you can't do that if you shield them from the reality. I don't know why that just turned on its own. Ooh, weird. But so I think it's very important, and I know that by when I was their age, I had seen the same stuff. My dad used to watch it. He used to watch a documentary series all the time called World at War, and it focused pretty heavily on the German atrocities, the Nazi atrocities. I keep saying German. Atrocities are committed by any nation and have been committed by every nation on the planet. And so to just single out and say German, I think it's more accurate to say Nazi, and that way it kind of points to the fact that it could happen anywhere, and it depends on who is in power and control. And let's hope it doesn't happen here in America. But it has, in many ways, in lesser degrees, has happened here in America. And you just have to be conscientious of that. And so, I don't make it a habit of watching these movies. I don't obsess over it or anything like that. I am very much into history and studying of history, or reading about history, and fascinated by the subject matter, but I don't sit and watch Holocaust movies or movies about atrocities and stuff, because it's just so depressing to me. And I kind of guard my emotional state. But this is one of those things where you have to. It's like the birds and the bees. Really, you got to educate the children about this stuff. And someday we'll have the birds and the bees talk. But right now, it's the man's inhumanity to man talk, and how bad hate can get, and how we shouldn't get carried away with it. We shouldn't have hate in our hearts. Anyway, so that's the fun week we've been having. Woohoo! Time to go home.